It's currently 11:21 p.m. Yeah, I didn't get much time today to work on the Aaron Rodgers styrofoam polystyrene drawing. Though I did get to work on the sides of the cleats. I intentionally left these blank spots while putting in the black. I'm going to color the white spots using a darkest gray Sharpie marker. And that's my attempt at emulating a rough black surface for one side of the cleats, in particular the sides that go outside from the middle, essentially. Pretty much as soon as I woke up today, got up for today, I went to bed at around 4 in the morning. And then I woke up around 10:30 in the morning. At which point, within about 15 minutes, I was dressed and in Dad's car, and we drove off in order to help carry some stuff into Dad's new house. For the first trip, that we made right before we immediately went to visit Dad's parents, the first thing we brought over from his apartment to his new house was a dresser. And then we primarily visited Dad's parents so that we could borrow something that's called a dolly. To help us in transporting heavy stuff from Dad's apartment to either his car or my mom's car. Although Grandma's SUV was used for the trip, for only the first trip we made immediately after we visited his parents. We visited Dad's parents to get some work gloves. presumably to protect our fingers from potential cuts and other injuries from carrying heavy furniture should there be a sudden slip. For the first trip to Dad's new house, in which my mom was involved, we carried another dresser, the long one, that's in his room at the apartment unit. Then for the next trip, we brought over what Dad referred to as the entertainment cabinet not too long ago, or the cabinet in his room that the TV used to rest on. And it's a bit older, a TV that's a bit older than a flash screen TV, because it doesn't look like a flash screen TV. Well, last I remembered, while we were loading that onto the dolly, I remember while we were putting that entertainment cabinet onto the dolly, which is something with two wheels and a long handle, twin handle, made of metal to be strong but compact, to be relatively easy to move around on wheels. I distinctly remember at different points rolling that thing down each step of the stairs, since Dad's apartment unit is on the second floor of this whole apartment building. Though I only did that when the dolly was empty and Dad was sliding down each of the objects. For the last trip, the third and last trip, in which Mom was involved, we moved the carry-o, aka what I used to call the dresser, the dresser of memories, since pretty much prior to today, it was full of various trinkets and mementos, including things like Dad's attempt at making a paper craft of Dr. Hare from Pop Tropica, and much more recently that polystyrene cup in which I drew a whole bunch of circles with various Sharpie markers as part of classes I took not too long ago on Skillshare. Although I'm still taking those classes. All of these trips, I think in total, we made 6 trips to Dad's new house. The first time going to his parents' place, afterwards and in subsequent trips going to his apartment unit in order to transport a piece of heavy furniture into either his car or into Mom's car, but more often Mom's car because it's bigger. I don't really recall any of the heavy furniture really being put into Dad's car, since that would make it less feasible for me to ride in the front seat, in the front passenger seat. Throughout the day, as it was a lightly rainy, overcast day with a light gray sky. I would help transport the heavy furniture. Just maybe around 4 pieces in total, but they were big and heavy pieces. Remembering to bend with my knees, not with my back. At least trying my best to. Helping to lift up the pieces over those few steps from the front lawn to the front door of Dad's new house, or to help it be slided out of the car, Mom's SUV, and onto the dolly. Sometimes I would just hold the dolly as a heavy piece of furniture was slid onto it, or I would help by holding a door open while Dad transported a heavy piece of furniture. Though at one point I recall it was mostly light work, but we got this circular rug with fringe around its perimeter. From Dad's parents' place. They gave it to us, and then I vacuumed it with the heavy-duty Coleman vacuum. After Dad did so first, in particular the front side of the rug, aka the side you want to be up while using it. not the side you want to be touching the actual floor, so to speak, which would be referred to as the back side of it. I was enlisted to vacuum in order to get anything that was missed when Dad vacuumed the first time around. For me, a more thorough tip was attached to the actual suctioning part of the vacuum. And I was careful not to get any of the fringe, though at times I did have to get somewhat close to the perimeter in order to suck up hairs and other bits of clutter on the rug. And I made sure to be careful so as to not have it accidentally suck up my clothes, which consisted of a t-shirt and some loose-fitting pants at this point, if I recall correctly. Pants like this. And I wore, like always, my rainbow tie-dye Crocs. Though there was no concern of those being sucked up because they were so far away. I had to crawl hands and knees in order to vacuum the front side of the rug, and then after maybe about 5 minutes, I said it was done. And Dad did the back side of the rug. Yeah, we were done with the work in moving the heavy furniture at around 3:30 p.m., at which point we went to Core Life, and I in particular got what I got last time. A large bowl of the Korean barbecue pork, only I had the purple rice replaced with romaine lettuce. And then roughly from 6 to 9 p.m. we were at Salvatore's. During which time I got a Fiddlehead IPA, the one I got during the Tryon City Tavern visit the other day. It turns out for the local Salvatore's Dad and I regularly go to, otherwise known as the Garage Door Salvatore's, that beer, it was a new draft / brew for them. Then Dad and I shared a pizza with a cup char pepperoni and bacon on it. Then I decided to try the new drink of the month, which in this case was called Tutti Frutti. It's got orange vodka in it. That's one ingredient I remember from that neon sign. Then I got a chance to show Abby the polystyrene drawings I've been doing lately. While we waited for the second pizza Dad and I got, this one being a pizza to go, in order for me to have something to eat tomorrow. First time I've ever seen a time booster being part of a reward for a quest. This second pizza had cup sharp pepperoni, but instead of bacon, it had sausage. During this same time period, at one point, Dad's friend Andy also stopped by and stayed with us for at least an hour or two, from what I recall. I'm going to assume at this point that Dad has the TV that in his room somewhere on the carpeted floor. Most of the floor in this apartment unit is carpeted. If I recall, the only area where the floor isn't carpeted in this apartment unit is the kitchen area, as well as the dining room area too. The next episodic event for Elvenar is going to be starting pretty soon. I'm just completing these residence upgrades so I have more population. For things like upgrading the main hall. And also upgrading my goods manufactories and my workshops. Basically, whatever I ultimately decide I should upgrade next. I remember in the late morning having my plain coffee in one of Dad's thermoses because we had to get on the go to help move heavy furniture into Dad's new house. And then Dad made coffee again in the afternoon, but I only had some of that batch because of our trip to Salvatore's, and so I finished it more around 9 p.m. It was good plain coffee. I spent a good amount of time of that afternoon period between getting back from Core Life and eating my bowl and our trip to Salvatore's, doing all of my daily tasks for Queen's Blade Limit Break. And this period was roughly from 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Of course, that whole period wasn't spent on Queen's Blade Limit Break daily tasks.